is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, Ira. We have warmed up the seat. You heard me. Do we get the habitual? Do we get now the new Bam? The every night Bam? Is he ready to step up and be that guy? Because that guy can lead this team to a title.
The problem, Big O, I always like to start with a counterpoint here to keep it spicy, is...
Jane, you ignorant slut. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Which really makes people realize how old you are, considering Jane Curtin is about 80 now. But that's another story.
It's a
you can only have one alpha.
Never disappears, boy. Never. Point counterpoint will always be one of those great segments. But
Dan
go ahead.
Aykroyd's greatest hits. The problem is, Big O, you can only have one alpha. You just can in basketball. It's a five-man game where only one person has the ball at a time. It's not like you can have sort of a hockey line where three guys like the Panthers during the regular season played it that way. So with Jimmy Butler first ailing in the first half and out in the second half, the canvas was there for Bam. It is very hard to go from being a beta to being an alpha on a regular basis. And teams that do that have different guys on different nights, generally are not winning teams when you look at where we stand in the playoffs. In basketball, more than any sport, even the NFL, because the quarterback has to have a running game, has to have someone to throw to. But in basketball, there's one guy. So without Jimmy there, Bam got to be that player. But you also need Jimmy Butler, and that's the problem. So Bam's entire career, he's never been a leading man. Whether Jimmy Butler was there, whether Dwayne Wade came back into town, or honestly, whether Hassan Whiteside was starting over him.
But he has the most accommodating superstar with him in Jimmy Butler.
And I understand that. So I would phrase it this way. I would phrase it this way. Bam Adebayo has to be a better beta. That's the thing. So in other words, if your alpha is a number 10, he's at the top thing, you can still be a 7 or 8 or even a 9 as his other guy. You can't match him. When Jimmy Butler plays, he will be ball dominant to a degree, and you want him. We saw the 41-point game, the 39-point game. It's what he does. But I think Bam defers more than a beta. It's a hard position. Scottie Pippen might have been one of the best ever. Shaq and Kobe could not coexist because of that. It's a hard life. There almost should be
the big three figured it out after year one.
Because what did Dwayne Wade do as soon as LeBron showed up? He stepped back. He got off the ball. He played more of as a cutter, but he never lost the aura of Dwayne Wade. It's a hard thing. Chris Bosh was very good about that also. Chris Bosh did that. He became whatever, alpha, beta, gamma. I don't know. I wasn't a frat boy. He became the third wheel on that team. What Bam has to understand is the NBA has Hall of Fame betas. And we talked about Scottie Pippen.
James
There
Worthy.
were so many guys, all the Lakers. I mean, in many ways, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a beta to Magic Johnson's alpha. Kevin McHale was a beta to Larry Bird's alpha. So that's the thing. It's almost like those are the players I would show Bam. I would say, okay, we signed Jimmy to $1 gazillion through his 48th birthday. He's the guy. But look at all these other Hall of Fame
the
players.
Sixers don't have one, actually. They have guys that rotate around Embiid.
And that's why they have not advanced in the Eastern Conference Finals in the last 3 years because of that. Even when they had Jimmy.
Although Golden State with Clay has figured it out.
It's Steph's team. It's Steph's team. It is the Stephen Curry.
But Clay defers is what I'm saying.
It's the Stephen Curry Warriors, but Klay Thompson's right there. Draymond Green sort of in the Bosh role, that third guy, and they all figure it out. That's where Bam has to be. But you're so right. In Philadelphia, when Jimmy was there, they wouldn't let him be the alpha because Ben Simmons wanted to be the alpha, because Tobias Harris was there, Joel Embiid is there. You have to figure out your team. Boston went through that for a long time this year until they said, Jason Tatum, you lead us. Jason Tatum, you lead us, but Jaylen Brown, you be an all-star. You be there. Marcus Smart, the same thing. So I think Saturday was a step forward. It showed Bam Adebayo when you have the canvas to yourself, you can be that guy. Now you have to be with Jimmy. And here's the other part of that Big O.
Well, wait a minute, but doesn't he kind of have the canvas to himself because Jimmy's not coming back 100% because got Peyton pulling leg Pritchard,
and we'll see.
re-injuring his ass.
And Jimmy might have to defer more, just like Kyle did in his first game back. or you can get drafted by a really craptastic team and dominate like Karl Anthony Towns and win absolutely nothing. So yes, you could say to me, Ira, look at Karl Anthony Towns. He's way more dominant than Bam. And what the F has Karl Anthony Towns ever won in the NBA? So there's a fine line there, Big O. You want Bam to be dominant. I heard you. I listened to the first 10 minutes. You almost cracked my computer screen. You were so damn angry. I get that.
Yeah,
but then,
I want him to be pissed off. I want him to play the way he played Saturday night.
Yes,
he's a mismatch.
And he still can do most of that. The points might come down. Instead of 31, maybe it's 27, maybe it's 25. That's fine also. Just don't make it the 16 total points in the first 2 games of the series. That is unacceptable, and I totally agree on that.
That's what I just want Mr. Aggressive. Now, today might be a little bit more of a challenge, right? Because we might get the Williams boy back, right? The big
and Robert Williams,
the little one.
And the size of Robert Williams affects Bam, and bigger bodies have affected him. And then they could throw all the bodies at him. Then you could throw Robert Williams, you could throw Grant Williams, you could throw Al Horford in there, you could throw Daniel Tice. It changes the dynamic. But I'll tell you one thing, and you see this in the playoffs. As soon as player A has a big game, the defense will change. So for Bam to do even close to what he did last time, he's going to have to be better, because the Celtics are not going to let themselves get beaten by the same player in consecutive games. You see that all throughout these playoffs. So it has to be by consensus with the Heat. It has to be by committee and ensemble, but it has to be, unlike with the Panthers, players at the best versions of themselves.
You expect Jimmy to play, right? I mean,
I do expect Jimmy to play. There was a lot of mitigating factors in there, and I think he just didn't feel himself. I also don't know if you get a chance or Sean can grab it. There actually was a GIF that came out of Peyton Pritchard grabbing Jimmy Butler's knee. Very much in the vein we've seen other plays in these playoffs where people made a big deal of it. And I think that might have been a little bit over the top by the Celtics. But, of course, here in Boston, they can do no wrong.
His name is Peyton Pulling Leg Pritchard is what I'm calling it.
It really was. And those are dangerous plays with the explosion of these guys. But, yeah, I think Jimmy will be back. Whether he'll be 100%, this is another one of those where you just have to watch the start of a game and see what he looks like.
No, I just I'm hoping that he can. But that's why I think there's also hope for Bam, because in a way he's not going to be 100%. Kyle Lowry's not 100%.
Right.
So PJ Tucker's not 100%. You know, you kind of need Bam to
Tyler
really.
Hero's not 100%. Yeah, and all that.
Yeah. And by the way,
and you know what, Big O? I'm going to go another direction from you. I'm going to go another direction from you. As much as you're talking about Bam today, maybe tomorrow when you have Anthony Chang on your next report, not our Acura Pembroke Pines report here on Mondays, you can ask him about Tyler Herro and what he did or didn't do, because that's the other guy that has to step up. That's the other guy that has to show up in this series as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Tyler has to step, but here's the thing. If he's not 100% and he's not playing well, are we better off watching Strus more and Caleb more? Maybe start getting, because I think what's also hurt Caleb too is that he hasn't had consistent minutes, and it hasn't allowed him to get in a groove also. And I think he's such an important piece because he's a two-way player and can help out in so many ways. So do you say, Tyler, you're not at 100. Let's give you a little time to kind of recover, buy another day or two to get back to Miami. I'm going to use Caleb a little bit more in a game like this.
No, I'm going to say no for this reason. You need your best players to at least try to be their best. It's so hard to score in this series. It's a rugby scrum every time you're down there in the half court. So I think more than anything, you've got to let Tyler try to spread his wings, because you know what, this thing probably is not going to end in 2 more games. It's probably going to come back here for Boston for 6. It very well could be Sunday at FTX Arena for 7. So I think you've got to get Tyler on track, and you have to get him back on track for this reason also. Because maybe you make the NBA Finals. And I got to tell you, in an NBA Finals, we know the Warriors are going now. No NBA team has ever blown a 3-0 lead. You're going to have to score points. 106, 109 ain't going to get it done against those Warriors. And for the Miami Heat to score points, Big O, you're going to need not only Jimmy Butler, you're going to need Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry, because none of these guys are 40-point guys. Most of these guys can be 20-point guys. So I think you've got to find a way to get Tyler going. You are not going to get the ultimate prize filling in for Tyler. You need better Tyler, and Tyler needs better Tyler because he's due for that extension. So when I'm out there in Vegas with you in Summer League, and we're doing our Acura Pembroke Pines reports out there from Vegas, and we're doing our Slomin's Home Security weekly shows out there from Vegas, and you're saying, Ira, Tyler's due for his max extension. You can't give this guy a max. I hope there's more of a playoff body of work where I can make an argument for you, or else, I think, and maybe write this down in your little black book there, I think that's going to be a hell of a debating point during Summer League when it comes to Tyler Herro's extension and how much might be too much.
Well, I'll follow up with this. Any disgruntled stars available this offseason? Like real ones, not like Westbrook or something. I'm talking about like legit ones that they could trade for, because I'm just saying Tyler and Duncan and a first-round pick all of a sudden become a package.
I got to tell you something interesting. It's not going to happen. But I was talking to someone involved with the Heat, and they were watching the game the other day, and they said, man, that Grant Williams would be really good alongside Bam Adebayo. Now, I can't just shake players free. I'm not a rumor monger. But here's the deal. For the last 3 years, the Heat have had a short-time, older power forward, 3-and-D spacer, worked out very well, to a degree. 2 years ago was great with Jay Crowder. Last year was good enough with Trevor Ariza, not great. This year's been fantastic with P.J. Tucker, who does have a player option. They're going to have to fill that void again, and you have to fill it with the right player, and the names I just gave you are the perfect example. Worked out great with Jay Crowder. Worked out great with P.J. Tucker. Not so good right there when you're talking about Trevor Ariza. I think that's what they've got to do. This team, the money they're spending, Big O, max contract Jimmy Butler, max contract Bam Adebayo, near max contract Kyle Lowry, extension contract Tyler Herro. Even if you move off of Duncan Robinson, maybe package your number 27 first-round pick, maybe, I know you don't want to give up a Yurtsevin or maybe a younger talent and move Duncan out of the way, you can only carry so many big nuts. You can only carry so many big tickets right there. So I don't think there's going to be a major offseason haul. Look at the last 2 offseasons for the Heat. Jimmy Butler 2 years ago, Kyle Lowry last year. You can't do it every year in a salary cap league. I think this summer will be more about filling in whatever holes they have, and the rest of this round and maybe the NBA Finals will show where they need to go.
Can we send Yurtsevin in there tonight as a Terminator or just pull Peyton Pritchard's leg off of his body too? I mean,
I just do a Dallas Mavericks. Just have him do a Mavericks. Have him stand by the bench and stand too close to the court and just stick out a leg. Have him pull him on Keith Morris. Just do it that way.
Or was it Pittman? Michael Pittman? What was Pittman's first name? Was it Michael?
Dexter Pittman? Dexter Pittman. Who went in against the Pacers as the destroyer, as the Terminator. Yeah, maybe you could do that. But that's literally when the Heat's big men were, quote unquote, the expendables, because if it wasn't Pittman, it was Ronny Turiaf. Yeah, you had all your big names there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Sean.
Here's Peyton pulling leg Pritchard, that little bitch. Go ahead, play it.
And that's the right name.
You don't have is that the shot or just the video? You don't have the video? Oh, there's a video for it too, but yeah.
Well, actually, there's a loop of this, but you know what? This is a good shot, and this is and then as soon as this ends, if you get the video later in your show, if it's not on our Acura Pembroke Pines report here, you'll see Pritchard sort of get up and like, what did I do? Right. What happened? Right. You know what? There used to be a certain degree in this league where you understood that these are also your fellow coworkers, that you're trying to present the best product, that at this time of year, the television ratings can impact the salary cap. But you get all these little, to use your words, big old bitches who get involved in there and really gum up the works, and that's a damn shame.
Dude, that's a what's the name of this loser that plays for the Bucks that I can't stand?
Grayson Allen.
Yes, that was a Grayson Allen-like move, bro.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, that's the kind of shit.
I don't disagree.
Get your ass kicked in a pickup basketball game, man. You don't pull that stuff off. All right, so 6.5 Celtics tonight. How you viewing this?
You know what? We've seen this. Oh, there's a video. So you're gonna play it for us?
Oh, look out! Look out! The exceptional producer that is Sean Stanley. He's gonna enlarge it now for us.
Can you maximize it? Hit the maximize button there.
Yeah, that's right. He's figuring it out now. All right, let's see. We're gonna enlarge it, and we get to see Peyton pulling leg Pritchard. That little bitch, and you'll see how dirty it is in that play,
or not.
All right, or not. Yeah, I don't know. Sean, you frozen there yourself?
Well, I know there's a little audio here now. Sean trying to get that. Sean, if you don't get that loaded, just to talk about tonight's game, Big O in a 6.5 point line. I will say this: every time every time a team has lost in this series, they've come back with a vengeance. It's been a way. So I think the Celtics come back, make their statement, and I think we wind up. I hope not. We wind up with the best of 3 series after tonight. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, although I think they want to. They're going to try to make it 3-1 here tonight. I think they want to walk. They want to make it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, look,
I don't think they want to just like some people think. Oh well, do you rest guys? You're going back to my no, dude. Don't take it like that. You try to make it 3-1 and make it.
Yep, they were 3-1 against
the world of pressure is on Boston tonight.
They were 3-1 against Atlanta. They closed that out. They didn't get to 3-1 against Philly, and it got a little tense when it went back 2-2 to FTX Arena. So they know the feeling. They know what it's like to go home in a closeout Game 5 in the Atlanta series, and they know what it's like to go to Philadelphia, and all of a sudden you're in that tight series again where you have to win a Game 6 or go to a Game 7. So they know what it means. But, one thing more important than anything, Boston is much better than Atlanta. Boston is much better than Philadelphia. This is a very, very good team. And honestly, after seeing Dallas, the 3 best teams left right now, obviously, are Miami, Boston, and Golden State.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One more thing before I let you go.
Sure.
We talked about this on Friday, on Saturday, actually.
Saturday.
We talked about this on Saturday that do I have as much a problem with Bam or do I have a problem also with Spo? So Saturday night, how much of it was that they accommodated for him? In other words, force the issue and try to create more offense for him, or how much was it Bam dictating and taking over and just wanting to be a part of the offense?
To go full circle for our accurate Pembroke Pines report today, it was mostly Jimmy not being there. That's factor 1. But 2, it was Bam Adebayo seeing and sensing, because Jimmy wasn't there, the opportunity was there, and seizing the moment. And I think what he does today is what he always does. He will size up the situation. And if Jimmy comes out and is hitting threes and is scoring, he'll step back and he'll say, I'll just take the W. But I think now, after what he did in Game 3, if Jimmy is off with his game in the knee, is off with his shot, if Kyle isn't up to speed, Bam will say, okay, you had your time, now it's my time. And I think it'll be more go time. But tonight he'll be playing against traps. He'll be playing against double teams. He'll likely be playing against Robert Williams. So it will be a different scenario than what he faced on Saturday as well.
Yeah, the only thing I find dangerous in that is then you allow him to get back into his passive ways, where I think now that you ignited a fire, keep that fire going and keep throwing logs into the chimney and say, no, dude, no, don't let him ever get, passive. Don't let him get comfortable. Keep him on an edge. Let's keep feeding him and keep him there involved constantly. I just think if you're Jimmy, if you're Spo, if you're even Lowry, you got to say, no, we need to keep this guy ignited all the time. Not be the focal point,
right?
But we can't forget about him anymore, because then he gets into that malaise and we're not better as a team. That's the thing.
I agree, but again, he takes measure because that's what a Bam does. So we will see.
All right. What you got working on anything at the Sunset?
Yeah, I got a couple of stories. This thing took on a life of its own when the midseason ESPN called the Heat the dangerous loomers. Heat social media exploded. So I did a story about the dangerous loomers phenomenon, how ESPN in midseason said the Lakers and the Heat are the same team and they're both going to come up short. I don't remember the last time I saw the Lakers playing this year, but I know I'm going to walk out this door to shoot around and see the Heat playing tonight. So Heat social media and Heat Nation out there really has had fun with that. I did a story on that, and I did my Ask Ira at sunsentinel.com on this absurd notion that the Celtics have won 10 quarters out of the 12, so they're having a good series. Like, what? Like, I've been doing this for 34 years. It's the first time I've heard someone say, but we've won more quarters than you. So I did
hold on a
second.
Ira, I don't think you're aware of this. They're giving away piggy banks today at the TD Center because they're really into, piggy banks. They count their quarters. They don't count games. They count quarters there. So, they're big on piggy banks there in the Boston area. So that's right. What it is about.
We should invite up the Gators, Mr. Two Bits, then, and he could be here and fit in perfectly also.
Yeah. So when you see a Celtic fan, hand them a piggy bank.
I'll hand him a quarter. The guy in the corner, I'll take care of him and say, here, you just won the first quarter. There you go. I'll take care of him. Catch you again for a full hour on Wednesday, 9 o'clock on our Slomin's Home Security Inside the Paint, and I'll sleep after the playoffs. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, baby. There you go. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines. Miami Heat, an NBA report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.